As you may know, state employees have an obligation under the State Code of Ethics and the University Guide to the State Code of Ethics to report certain circumstances in which you receive a gift to the state or are provided compensation for necessary expenses. Be sure to stay tuned in for this entire video to learn exactly what a gift to the state is, what would constitute a necessary expense, and how to ensure you're in compliance with the Office of State Ethics reporting requirements. When a state employee, such as a UConn and UConn Health employee, accepts payment or reimbursement for reasonable expenses associated with attending an event in their official state capacity, this is referred to as a gift to the state. So, what does reasonable mean? According to the State Code of Ethics, a reasonable expense would be things such as registration costs to attend the event, meals provided during the event, hotel or lodging costs associated with the event, and/or travel expenses, such as reimbursement for mileage or flight costs. However, the event must be educational in nature and relevant to the duties associated with your UConn position. So, what else should you know about gifts to the state? Well, one thing to keep in mind is that you do not need to be an active participant in the event to receive a gift, but simply in attendance as a learner to acquire knowledge or expertise related to your UConn and UConn Health job. To be clear, an active participant would be someone who is a featured speaker or a presenter at the event. Payment or reimbursement falling under a gift to the state can be made by either a restricted or non-restricted person or entity and is not limited to sponsors of the event. Additionally, the payment or reimbursement must be reasonable and not for lavish purposes. Reasonable would include travel, lodging, meals, and conference or event fees. Gifts to the state do not include recreation or entertainment costs. Meet Shira. Shira works in research compliance. Shira was recently invited to attend a prestigious training academy for people in the research compliance field. Shira would receive intensive training on different topics that would assist her in conducting her job at UConn. Shira was offered a full scholarship to attend the academy in the amount of $5,000. The scholarship would cover her registration for the academy, the lodging for the 5-day event, as well as any travel expense. Can Shira accept the reimbursement of $5,000 for the training academy expenses? What do you think? Yes, the training academy is for the purpose of acquiring knowledge and expertise related to Shira's position at UConn. In addition, the reimbursement covers costs that would be reasonable, such as lodging, registration, and travel to and from the academy. What if the academy offers to pay for Shira to attend a baseball game as a part of the academy planned for the attendees to network? Would Shira be permitted to accept the baseball ticket? What do you think? If you're thinking no, then you're correct. Attendance at a baseball game is not educational in nature and would not be for the purpose of furthering Shira's education or knowledge related to her UConn position. Therefore, Shira would need to pay fair market value for the ticket or decline the invitation to attend the event. Now that we understand what would constitute a gift to the state, what exactly is a necessary expense under the State Code of Ethics? As a UConn or UConn Health employee, you are not permitted to accept payment, otherwise known as honorarium, for presenting an article or giving a speech in your official UConn capacity. With that said, you are permitted to accept reimbursement for necessary expenses relative to your active participation in an event or activity in your role as a UConn or UConn Health employee. Active participation requires substantial activity that would be essential to the event or activity, including but not limited to giving a speech, being a participant on a panel, moderating a panel, or presenting or receiving an award. So when you think of necessary expenses, think of expenses that would be necessary costs in order for you to participate in the event or activity. Now, in case you're wondering if there's anything else to consider regarding necessary expenses, the answer is yes. For example, A necessary expense can only be provided by the sponsor of the event. However, the sponsor can be a restricted or non-restricted person or entity. Also, your invitation to participate must have been based on your capacity as a UConn employee. In addition, the word necessary would mean expenses or fees that are necessary for your participation in the event and mirror those considered under gifts to the state, such as lodging, registration fees, travel, and meals. Again, necessary expenses would not include social or entertainment costs. So let's say Shira was asked to attend the training academy to be a featured speaker and trainer rather than just a participant, and will be representing UConn at the academy. Because of her active participation in the academy, any reimbursement or payment received would be considered a necessary expense. If you find yourself in Shira's position, where you are receiving a gift to the state or payment or reimbursement for a necessary expense, you should be aware that you're required to report it to the Office of State Ethics. For both provisions, gifts to the state and necessary expenses, you must file a form with the Office of State Ethics within 30 days if you received a payment or reimbursement for lodging and/or out-of-state travel. The only exception to this is if the payment or reimbursement of expenses is made by the state of Connecticut, the federal government, or another state government. For more information regarding the reporting requirements or how to fill out the required form, please see the Guide for Public Officials and State Employees regarding necessary expenses and gifts to the state. Now, what happens if Shira chooses not to fill out the form with the Office of State Ethics? What would happen? In addition to being subject to potential sanctions from the Office of State Ethics, which could include fines up to $10,000 per violation, Shira could be required to pay back the payment or reimbursement to the entity in full. If you're in a situation like Shira, where you're trying to determine if you may be required to report a financial gift or payment, you're in luck. The university has several resources, including the Office of University Compliance and the university's ethics liaison, Kimberly Fernie, who are always available to provide guidance on this and other compliance-related topics.
Thank you for your time, and be sure to check out other informational compliance clips in the near future. As always, please feel free to contact the University Compliance Office for information related to this or other compliance matters.